Hey guys, what's good? This is Andre and today I want to do a stock review with you guys. I'm gonna review 3 picks for next week, and then I'm also going to be reviewing the 2 best picks from last week just so we can take a look at that and see exactly how they're working. For any of you guys that don't want to sit through the review, feel free to skip forward. I'm gonna leave timestamps below, but we're gonna look at analog devices, ADI stock, electronic arts, EA stock, and then Cloudflare, which is net stock. So guys, with that in mind, let's jump into the picks that we had for last week. So the first one is Intuit. For Intuit, if you guys remember, or if you've checked my Patreon, and again, check it out, I post a lot of free content in there. There's always something good going on there, even without opting into a tier. But as you can see for Intuit here, we are really close to our take profit range. We came really close to being stopped out. Thankfully, we were not. And as you guys can see, this is the exact setup that we had. So we are about to make 4 for the risk of 1 that we had. This is still something ongoing for now. The next one would be Hilton, guys, which I featured a couple of times throughout the last couple of weeks. We got stopped out the first time around, but this is the second time around and we're doing quite well. We also got a profit the first time around, so we got a partial profit and then stopped out the second position, and now we have a full position again, going quite well here. I'm curious if it's gonna stop here where I've drawn in this potential resistance area at roughly $143, but if not, I mean, hypothetically, I don't think it's gonna go that high, let's face it, but I think something like this is more than decent and more than achievable given a bit of bullishness in the sector. Now let's move on to the stocks that I wanted to cover for this week, guys. So we have ADI. ADI is a bearish setup here. It's one that we took short last week on Friday. We actually opened up a put option spread here, so it's not traded with shares, but if you were to want to trade it with shares, feel free to let it retrace back a little bit and take it from there. From here where it sits right now, the risk reward ratio isn't fantastic, so I would probably either skip it or give it more time to work back up if it does retest that area and take it from there. The next pick, guys, is EA stock. So for electronic arts, if I switch over to weekly, this trend line or this channel is gonna blow your mind. Just check out how well respected this entire channel has been for such a long time. I am expecting it to go lower from here. Hopefully it manages to find resistance again. I like the way that the MACD is looking. I think that we can easily curl over in the MACD and start heading lower. Although I did take an options trade, not a share trade, this is what you guys can take. It would be a loss of roughly $4.50 per share for a gain of roughly $8.90. If you want to let some runners run, I definitely think that filling this gap is the first possibility, and then obviously retesting the bottoms here would be a second possibility. So that's why make sure that you let a couple of shares run if you do take this trade. The next and last one that I want to review here, guys, would be Cloudflare. So for net stock, this is pretty telling. We have a really strong supply zone here on the weekly. I do think that once we retrace back into that supply zone, we're probably going to be seeing some weakness. So the trade could be as easy as the following one. You would want to have your stop right above the wicks of those candles, and now this is where the money shot is being made, basically, guys, because it's really important for you to define your own risk tolerance. Make sure that first off, your take profit needs to be above the demand zone at the bottom here. So the stock had just created a demand zone in this area. And guys, with supply demand zones, there's basically 3 different ways that you can define your risk. What we have in here right now is the minimum risk that you can define for supply demand trading when you're setting up your supply zone. This is the medium amount of risk, where you would basically buy here and stop out here. And then the least, or the most risk you can take by widening up the gap this way, buying here and getting stopped here. As I told you a bit earlier, I prefer the version where I only focus on the candle, the body candle, but in some cases I might let the wick be included as well, because I don't want to get stopped out for no good reason. And so by going down to the lower time frame, I can see that there's not much of a supply area created here, but still I would definitely definitely want to make sure that I'm getting stopped out at the top of the of these weeks over here. So that means roughly $7.50 per share. If you take the risk from over here, you can always wait for it and take it from closer to your stop area, or you can even kind of average in, take a quarter of your position here and continue to average in as the stock moves higher. But even with the maximum risk that we are willing to take here, we still have a 1 to 3.5 risk to reward ratio, guys. So this is as good as they come with setups like these, especially since Cloudflare stock is not necessarily one of the best ones out there. So these are my swing trade stocks for this week, guys. They're stocks that you could buy or sell now for a swing trade. I would not invest in any of these. They are not recommendations to buy or sell any of these. Obviously, they're simply here for educational purposes. If you enjoy the content, guys, please leave a like down below. Let me know if you have any questions or if you would like for me to cover any stocks, and check out our Patreon. We constantly post a lot of really valuable free content on there. The first $5 tier that you could opt into has even more quality picks, and I'm gonna catch you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning in. Take care.